Hey, it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast on a Wednesday. That means it's time for This Week at Gear Report, where we talk about all of the things that we've reviewed since the show last week and things are in the queue to review again soon. So I'm Jeff. I'll be your host. And we have the ghostess with the mostess. Would you like to say hi?
What's going on? Thanks for having me. It's nice to be back. Finally, I'm glad that I got a review done for you. So sorry it's been a while.
Oh, the review's not for me. It's for the audience. Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Very true.
I appreciate it as well. Don't get me wrong. But hey, I'm just a guy, you know. The audience, they're the ones that are important. All right, looks like TJ is not here with us. He's here in the chat. He sent me a note a few minutes ago and said, man, I'm so sorry I'm not going to make it tonight. He is stuck on some work stuff, and I do mean stuck. He's got some gooiness going on, and I think that's about all I can really say about that right now. So we'll keep moving on down the line here.
Hey guys, JJ, glad to be here again Wednesday night, talking about the good stuff and bad stuff that we've seen or tried or tested. So, stay tuned.
All right, so we got a what's up from TJ, and we've got Mr. Steve himself, the Tactical Nacho. He sees TJ in the chat. So Steve's stepping in quick to be helpful. So we appreciate that. This is they got a conversation going on. What's up? Chilling at work for the next 4 hours. What's up, gun snob? I mean, I'm loving it that everyone is just kind of chilling out here, having fun.
Everyone's saying what's up, and no one's asking what's down. I don't understand that. There's things that are happening on the ground level too.
Yeah, that's very true.
Apparently, did someone put super glue on his toilet seats? Oh, I get it. Yeah, no, but that's a good idea. I think I'm going to put that on the list to do at some point. See, I have said for quite some time that TJ is owed a shot to the testicles. And the plan was going to be with like a pepper ball or something bigger than airsoft, at least like a paintball gun or something. And I apologize.
Man, that hurts, man. Paintball hurts.
It's dried out here. The air's dried out the last couple of days. My lips are chapping, and I had a little crack starting to bleed, I think. So I had to deal with that. Let's see. Jacob Perkins is here. Good evening to you, Mr. Perkins. Jeff's hair count is what's down.
Ouch.
Yeah, man.
Should I?
Come on. It's bad enough that Snob has to go pick on my follically challenged, upper cranial region, but now you got to go show off the luscious locks.
Yours is just showing the
brightness. Steve, come on. Yep, those of us with shiny heads have to stick together, right? Yeah, keep laughing, funny man. We'll all keep laughing. Hey, thanks everyone for being here. Adam Downs, good to see you. All right, I think we talked about everyone else that's out there. So the chat is actually picking up a little bit today. We appreciate that. We got a few things that we're going to jump in and talk about as far as, the typical agenda for the show, the things that we're supposed to do. So we're going to dive into the recently completed reviews. And okay, I'm going to save that one in case the Rogue Banshee decides to grace us with his presence. We'll delay that one a bit until he gets here. I'm going to take the first one and talk about a live stream we did on Monday. And I want to emphasize this is the beginning of kind of a series of these live streams that we're doing with SHOT Show being canceled. You guys have all heard this already. With SHOT Show being canceled, we're not getting out to see the brands that we would normally talk to. This one's a little bit different. Humvee Insurance is not. Devin and his insurance agency is not something we would have seen at SHOT Show and talked to. But since we were inspired by, hey, we're not going to see them, let's do some live streams, we started reaching out to everyone saying, hey, why don't you come on and talk about stuff? So Devin came on. We talked about insurance for Humvees. If you insure any kind of vehicle, and you got a little time to kill, why don't you give it a listen? He talks about the different types of coverages and the different methods you can go about getting insurance and what some of the risk and benefits are along the way. This is a very Humvee centric or military vehicle centric discussion, but there's some good stuff in there that can be beneficial to anyone who has a Humvee. So with that, we're going to move right on off of that one. All right.
Any Hummer insurance with that or no?
We don't really work the sex worker industry.
Oh, well, you got to try, a working boy's got to try.
I suppose so. Let's see. Which one do we want to do next? We're going to do Ghost. We're going to come to you on this one here.
Okay.
So take it away. What would you like to tell us about how to set up your EDC bag?
So we did a video, and basically the video comes out if you're kind of brand new to the EDC bag game. We kind of give you some ideas. This is not firearms and stuff related. Obviously, we give bags, different types of bags, whether it's a sling bag, a shoulder bag, a purse, a firearm backpack. They're all different kind of bags that you have choices of. Kind of give you an ideas of all that stuff that's out there. And then we started going into stuff that, everyone, whether you carry or not, really should have with them either on their person or in their vehicles at all times. We're talking food and water and like an MRE, or I keep gummy bears and snacks like that. Then you have like portable electrical charging devices, not just the cables, but there are a lot of different charging devices that are great. Then we talk about maybe more durable paracables. You have flash drives, stuff like that. Then you start talking about, the knives and the pepper sprays and flashlights and, then really the biggest one, and I still feel all the time, if you're going to pick 4 things and 4 things only that you want to keep with you at all time, have a couple bottles of water, at least 2, if not more, but water, food, some kind of a power supply, and medical, whether it's a tourniquet, a first aid kit, something like that. I think that those are really, really important. So we kind of not only talk about what they are, what they're used for, but we also kind of give pictures that show what different kinds are.
Sure.
There are some tactical things. There are more stylish things, for people that aren't tactical and all that. So basically, it's just kind of a how to start an EDC bag if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah. Well, it's the type of thing that a lot of people kind of learn through trial and error. And I think giving them a little bit of a head start here with some product suggestions, here's some things that have worked for me. It helps get them moving in the right direction. So, yeah, I think that is a good start.
Yeah, I think that one of the big things as well, looking at what you have on the screen right now is the different backpacks and stuff. I know that not everybody is keen on the tactical backpack and things, but
right,
just having a school book backpack like
a Jansport or whatever, sure,
or Eastman or whichever one of those, with the at least the bare necessities in the car or stuff. That's all you need. You don't need to show the part of being tactical or the prepper kind of visual.
Right. Yeah, well, and that's something Toby talks about when he comes on here sometimes, is he, I think, really embraced the tactical look for a few years, and he's done like a 180, and now Toby is gray man everything. The gray man concept being that you blend in.
And it's one of the colors that people block out and not pay attention to.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so gray and black are the ones that typically people don't look at. You don't want to draw attention. And I like FDE and I like olive drab and all that, but those are maybe going to bring a little more attention. Yeah, a little sleek black or gray or white. Those are the ones that really no one pays attention to.
Yeah, I would say to some extent black is still considered a little bit of unfortunately, the sinister part where thieves and people that are trying to do bad in the shadows are going to wear black. But in social urban kind of setting, if you're wearing gray or something less colorful, you know, they're just going to oversee you, and they're just going to go past who you are, and you're going to have less of a presence just because of what you're wearing.
Yeah, I think a black backpack will still be very, very good if it's not a tactical backpack. If it's just a normal Jansport or some kind of a stylish sling or something like that, you know, you can still get rid of. But yeah, black tactical, anything tactical, if you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Now, the great thing about tactical bags is they have a lot of pockets and all of that stuff. So it is what it is.
Hey, the hot pink might work for some. Gunsnob
Hey,
said,
you know.
Hey, hiding in plain sight, right? That's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's true.
But seriously, the Gunsnob's not a little man. So he's kind of a big dude. Big dude wearing a hot pink backpack. I think people are going to want to look, but they'll be like, if I look and he sees me looking, he's going to come thump me. So it could be one of those hide in plain sight strategies of, oh yeah, I dare you to look at this hot pink bag.
Yeah.
Only if he's wearing his bow tie, though.
Yeah, I was going to say it goes with his tutu, but you know, whatever. Let's see. Defense Dad has joined us out there as well. Good to see you. All right, man. I am so happy we have so many people here joining us tonight. I do want to clarify something though, Ghost, and a little bit of a head scratcher here. Did you say white? A white bag?
Yeah, I mean, I
just
personally would
Labor
not.
Day, right?
I personally would not, but there are a lot of people that will wear white backpacks, especially in the medical field. You know, I know that a lot of people will wear, if they're wearing scrubs and all that, a white backpack with a red cross on there. It lets people know that they are maybe medical. So I do see white backpacks quite frequently. Not me personally, but I do see them out there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my attempt to make a "you can't wear white after Labor Day" joke.
Yeah,
I got that. Yeah, and you're right. And you're right.
Why am I even throwing these jokes out here? But anyhow, thank you. I think that's a helpful article that people are going to enjoy. So we appreciate the time and effort you put into cataloging all of that and giving people a head start on how to put their EDC stuff together.
Yep.
Oh, what shall we look at next? We got two things here. We're going to do them in the order that I filmed and posted them. So the 11th, today's the 16th. So yeah, this was since the last show. I was thinking, did we already talk about this? But I keep getting notes from people saying, dude, you've had your new Humvee for a month and a half. How come we're not seeing more content out on it yet? Well, a month of that, it was sitting at James's with the transmission out, pretty much getting the transmission rebuilt. He had a little trouble sourcing a couple of internal parts on it to make sure he had the exact right ones. So it took a while. And while it was down, I wasn't able to get any content up. But as soon as I was able to get that content, you see me pulling out of James's driveway here. Like, I didn't even clear the property. I pulled 100 yards from the shop, said, oh yeah, it's running. We filming a video. And so you get to see me driving across town from the shop back to Gear Report HQ. And, you know, the funny thing to me is I thought, yeah, this is 7 minutes of me just driving. And I do talk about some of the features and differences in this Humvee versus some of the other ones I've had. And to me, this wasn't a real high value video, but I've had a number of people say, man, thanks for posting it. It's so cool to see what the new ones look like and to hear some of the feedback on the road. And they like that it's a really short video. They don't have time to watch the longer ones. I tend to be verbose. I'll put really long videos out. So I think we may see some more videos like this. You know, people kind of like to see this kind of thing. So we'll do more of that. But that's really all that's in here is me driving home and talking about some of the features of that truck. So if you have any interest in that, go check it out. I'm not going to spoil the rest of that video for everyone.
You know, the interesting thing is, and it's been a long minute since I've driven a Humvee. You know, I've been out since '98.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, people don't typically think of Humvees as being high tech. They think them as rugged, minimalist vehicles. But the military puts a lot of tech, maybe not like high tech that you think electronics and all that, but
Yeah.
there are really a lot of functional high tech stuff. So I want to ask you, in comparison to the other Humvees that you've had, since this is kind of the newest model that is out there, how is the technology in compared to other Humvees that you've had?
It's low tech. Yeah, so it's a very rudimentary vehicle. The first generation Humvee, first and second generation Humvees had a completely manual everything. There's a couple of electronic things in the dash, mostly mechanical gauges in the dash. One little start box has some relays and solenoids and things. Other than that, it's pretty much they're designed to be like EMP proof. So when you talk about tech from an electronic standpoint, nothing.
Yeah, no. And that's what I'm saying is that's what most people think of
all kind of crazy stuff in there. So then you get to the third generation, what my last one was, and you move up to a 4-speed electronically controlled transmission. So that's a little bit more modern tech. I mean, we're pushing like mid-90s tech for that one. And then this one has got, similar, a couple other little upgrades, like an electronic speedometer instead of a cable-driven one. But really, that's about it. But then when you look at the technology that went into it, they have made some pretty radical improvements to the springs, for example. So the ride went from feeling like you're riding in a crappy go-kart to, it ain't a Cadillac, but it's not an F-250 either. It actually rides kind of nice, this one. So they did put some technology. They changed the steering system angles a bit to make the steering a little bit lighter and more responsive. And they beefed up some parts and changed some of the control arm angles and reinforcements. And so from a technology standpoint, they took that Humvee back to the drawing board and really did improve some things on it. But the shell of the vehicle, it's a platform that's made to be reconfigured into who knows how many different purposes. Many of those purposes have racks for electronics. So they can mount a crazy wide span of electronics can fit in a Humvee. They've got different loadouts to put all kind of server racks and full missile weapon systems and machine gun systems and electronic countermeasures and you name it. Even stuff I don't know about, I'm sure, can be mounted in a Humvee.
When I was in, we had several different models. You had you had a comms Humvee. Mm-hmm. You had a transport Humvee. You had a TOC, which is Tactical Operation Command. You had a TOC Humvee that was a mobile TOC that, like you said, could run a firefight, run an operation mobily. That's what I'm saying is the technology as far as the electronics of a Humvee are very minimal, like you said, rudimentary. Yeah. But everything that goes into a Humvee is there for an exact specific purpose for troop movements, which is pretty awesome, and people don't realize that they are not just these kind of new age Jeeps. They are very, very low profile, technologically able to do a lot of stuff. It's just the Humvee themselves are not, but they're really capable of so much. I enjoyed them.
It's one of the things that Jeff and I always talk about whenever we're, I'm helping him with the stuff in the Humvee, is how interesting it is that the space accommodations for, since you mentioned that moving personnel and taking people different places, if you are just slightly above average when it comes to height and length, or as a person, especially with gear, man, there's really not much space for like leg room or space for the person to sit in, especially
for such an abnormally large vehicle. Like when you walk up to it, you would think there'd be tons of space inside, but then you get in and it's like, whoa, there's no room in here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that it always goes to a situation where Jeff, being above 6'2", ends up having maybe a 1/4 inch space in between his knees and the console, or his knees and the cross braces if he's sitting on the back or stuff. So it's always funny that I end up having enough space to be okay, and Jeff pretty much has none.
Pretty much.
Ironically, when I first got overseas, literally like the second day I was there, they made me go get my Humvee license, and because nobody wanted to drive them, and I'm thinking, first of all, I'm driving a Humvee. That's pretty badass in itself. I'm 19 years old driving a Humvee.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that's pretty cool. But then I start making fun of them, and then they didn't like the fact that I was saying, you guys realize that I'm the smallest one here, and I have the most leg room because I'm in the driver's seat. Now who's the stupid one? So they're like, wait a second, that doesn't work out right. I'm like, hey man, you're the ones who said that the PFC's got to drive the Humvee, so I'm driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this article is really just a housing for this video. And this is what I've really been waiting to do for when I got the Humvee back, was this walk around video. And honestly, I should have done it before it went in for the transmission work, but I didn't get it done. I had the camera in my hand and was walking towards the door to go out and shoot that video when I heard James pull in the driveway in his Humvee to pick this one up, to take it back to the shop and do the transmission work. So I missed it I needed about 20 minutes to walk around and shoot that video, and I missed it. So I had to wait another month until I got it back to go shoot that video. It's the walk around where I really focus on what are the differences in the 1165-A1, which is, I guess we'd call it the 5th generation. It's the latest version that is available for civilians to purchase. They've released not very many of them. I would guess that they're probably pushing maybe 100 or so that have made it out into the wild, and probably about 150 that have been sold. But you have to wait for months for the paperwork to clear, so probably 50 of those have been sold and they haven't been able to pick them up yet. So not many of these have made it out into civilian hands. So I went through and really highlight all the differences. So the things I'm pointing out, like right there, is a different seat base that's designed to absorb an IED impact from below. It has some areas that are kind of pre-bent so that they'll deform to absorb a blast from underneath. So it's got some neat technology in it to help protect the crew in it a bit. But anyhow, if you want to see all the different features, what's different about this Humvee, what this one looks like, then I highly encourage you to go check out that video. Let's see, electronically, they may be low tech, but the engineering that goes into the wheel hubs, gears, approach angles, ground clearance, yeah, pretty high tech. And it's kind of neat that, you talk about the hubs, it has the portal axles that come in kind of high, and then through a gear reduction come down to the actual axle in the middle of the wheel, and that gives you another 2 inches or more of ground clearance. So they do some really neat things, tucking the engine and transmission up in the body, raising it up higher, and then lowering, the wheels in relation to the hubs in order to get more ground clearance. This is the newer model that through some of the changes, normally they have, I think it's 16 inches of clearance between the center, the lowest part in the center of the vehicle and the ground. And when I measured this one, it was more like 18 inches. So pretty cool.
That can also
when they decommission these, do they take the switches out for the inflate and deflate of the tires? Do they take those out? They're usually down. In this picture, you're down a little bit lower down there towards the gears.
Did you actually have that in yours?
Yeah. We had a switch that if we switched it, it would deflate the tires, flip the switch up, and it would inflate the tire generator.
Yeah, CTIS is central tire inflation system, and that's common on the commercial H1 variant. I have seen just a couple of military Humvees that actually had that.
They were pretty cool. They didn't work at the time, so you didn't really mess with it. But the technology idea is pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah,
actually.
yeah. I have no firsthand experience. I've don't recall ever even seeing one in person that had it. But what I can tell you is the people that I know that have used them have said what you said, that yeah, half of the time or more it doesn't work. So it's just as well not to have it. Raul Camacho, let me give you some thoughts on this. All right, from the 998 is a first generation Humvee. The 1165 could be like a fourth or fifth gen. If it's 1165, it's what they call an ECV truck. It's going to be a turbo, and it's going to have some of these improvements. The 1165-A1, most of those are going to be what they call a REV truck, a reliability enhanced vehicle, I think is what that means. And it's going to have a bunch of other improvements. So let's see if I can get back here and pause the video, and I'll bring up. All right, that was enlarged, so we'll take that down. Let's see if we can get this to load, and that means I have to go back to StreamYard and show a different screen. It'd be nice if when you open a tab, StreamYard would be like, oh, I bet you wanted to show what's on that tab. All right, here we go. So, and let me make that one bigger. Nope. That's as big as she gets, folks. Sorry. That is a chart, and I feel sorry for anyone that's trying to look at this on a phone. I apologize. I think that's as big as I can make it here. This is a chart, and you can go to the article and enlarge this so you can see it and read it better. And it talks about modifications, major modifications that they made to the Humvee since 2005, and it's color coded. So as far as I can tell, what I have is what they call the Rev B, which looks like, they have whatever ASK, FK7 mod. Rev C was a proposed mod at the time of this publication. As far as I know, the Rev B is the most current that's actually made it out into civilian hands through the auctions. And they have like a cool differential that wasn't there before. And, an improved parking brake and a bigger radiator and cooling pack. And all the steering system is beefed up and re-engineered. And the shock absorbers and the springs and the control arms and, a whole bunch of other things that have had some modifications. Mainly for reliability and durability when carrying all the heavy up armor package stuff, because they take an underpowered truck and turn it into a real pig when you put all that weight on it. So you do a lot of things for that. So, if I were in the position of, should I sell my 998 first generation Humvee that's probably still a 3-speed, and get one of the newer trucks? It depends on what you're doing with it. I mean, if this is your grocery getter and you're just driving around town at low speed, and it doesn't matter that you can't really get above 55 miles an hour, or that the body's really poorly insulated, or, the ride is rougher. If those things don't really matter that much, stick with what you have. Most people aren't going to know the difference, and it still looks pretty cool. If you want to get on the highway and go at interstate speeds, you need a 4-speed, so at least get up to like an A2 truck. If you want to go up to the 1165, it's going to ride a little better. You may have a little bit more power with the turbo. You'll get better seats, definitely. Better seat belts. Yeah, a bunch of little incremental improvements, whole lot of little incremental improvements. You got to figure out what do you think you can sell a 998 for, and then look at what the prices are. Today, the truck that I have with a set of hard doors on it, which is, $3,500, $4,000, sold for $47,000 at the auction. And that's the highest one I've seen. So then you add 15% for the auction fee, and then 7.5%, 8% for the taxes. And someone's in that for like 52, 53,000 or more, something like that. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But
now that is a model or one of the samples that is actually running. that is guaranteed.
Yeah, that was a runner.
Yeah, and yeah, you could go a lot lower if the engine doesn't run or there's more problems, or it's not guaranteed that it's going to be okay, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What does a running 998 usually run for? Do you know?
Oh my goodness, man, the numbers have been all over the place lately. Like if you're a private sale one that's in nice shape, not pimped out or perfect, but cleaned up and maybe has a title. I think today, a couple 6 months ago, I'd have said, anywhere from 9 to 12, 13,000. Today, a basic truck like that, probably more like 15, 16. And then if it's got any improvements, if it's not a 2-man, but a 4-man, it's got a newer top and nicer seats, any of that kind of stuff. And you're pushing 20 or more pretty easily, I think, just in the secondary market. You'll also get people who are like, no, but I bought mine for $4,500 at the auction. Well, they forget that was 4 years ago, and you just can't get them at the auction that cheap anymore. I've seen non-running trucks go for 11,000. The basic first generation 2-man looks like hell. It's going to need a shit ton of work going for 10, 11 at the auction prices. Then you add the fees on, and then you have to go pick it up because you can't drive them home, right? And they're spending 13, 14 to get a non-running basic first gen truck. So the 1165s, especially the newer, the A1s, the rev trucks, are really getting crazy with the prices. I mean, from someone who's followed these auctions for several years, I thought they were starting to go up a few years ago, and they've just gotten completely crazy now. It's almost like when they very first started auctioning them and no one had Humvees at all. So they were paying 40, 50,000 just because they wanted to be the first to have one. Well, now it's kind of what's happening. Everyone wants to be the first to have these new rev trucks, and they're just going through the roof. But if you watch the video that we were talking about, that the one that had this in it, the walk around talking about the new Battlewagon 3, you will see it's got a hell of a lot of cool upgraded features that a lot of people are just itching to have the latest and greatest because they suck a whole lot less than the early ones. And I love my truck. I got more money in it than I've ever spent on a vehicle. But I'll still tell you, even though it's the cushiest ride I've ever felt in the Humvee, and it's got better power and it steers better and the brakes feel better, everything is better. The heat works like a champ. I haven't actually charged the air conditioner to see if that works, but the heat will freaking burn you. Everything is better in this truck. And it's still, I still wouldn't recommend that most people buy one because it doesn't have the creature comforts that most people are used to. And even though I'm like, oh, it's the nicest Humvee I've ever been in, it still wouldn't make them happy.
Yeah, you can buy the very basic, 4-door pickup truck and have a lot more amenities than this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, when I was thinking about it when I went to pick it up at James's, it had been sitting outside his shop for a month with no doors. And most vehicles, people would be completely freaked out. Never even batted an eye, didn't cross my mind, wasn't a big deal. Yeah. Who cares? So what? The doors weren't on. Yeah. But that's how it is when you have a Humvee. So anyhow, go check it out if you have any interest in that whatsoever. All right. Raul, you got to let us know what you do. I'll tell you the other thing. He says, they're fetching a premium for the new ones, but then also the paperwork has gotten to be the biggest cluster you have ever seen in your life. Like, I literally can't in good conscience recommend someone to go buy a Humvee from the government auction right now, not from GovPlanet. Maybe, every now and then you find one sneak out through some other auction site, through some other program, but the ones who come through there, I'm telling you, that company is really pushing the boundaries of incompetence. Like, I didn't think they could really be this incompetent. And it's like they took that as a challenge. Hold my beer. And they keep leveling up on their incompetence. And I can't in good conscience recommend to anyone that you go buy from them. But if you want one of these new trucks, no one's selling them on the used market because they just got them. The auction's pretty much the only game in town. So you got to go give those incompetent asshats your money if you want one. But that's how I feel, because I sometimes don't share my feelings clearly enough. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, I wish you'd stop holding back,
I know it. So let's see here. The shell sorter. I was waiting to see if Jason at the Rogue Banshee was going to show up and tell us about this. I'm going to give you a quick overview. He has a video in here that you can watch and you can read through some of his thoughts on this. But if you just look at what this is, it is buckets with a specific calibrated size set of holes in the bottom that are just big enough for certain shell casing sizes to fit through. So you take your big bucket of range brass and dump and shake, and the right size falls through. So now you've sorted that size out, and then you move up to the next and work your way through till you've separated them all completely. And that's kind of brilliant, I think. So, and they're pretty cheap. I think the set of 3 was, $40-45 shipped on Amazon, something like that. So if you're into reloading and you don't like the boring, monotonous, tedious part of sorting through your brass by hand, maybe this is an option that you want to go read about and see if it makes sense for you to invest in a set of the shell sorters.
Yeah, I guess at the same time, just looking at those, I can see some of the troubles that you could encounter as well. Because if you are sifting through, because that's really what you're doing, you are sifting through the ammo, through the cases. 9mm is probably gonna fall in together with 223 or 5.56. And you will still going to have to separate your rifle cartridges from pistol cartridges. At the same time, those pesky 9mm fit in a 40 caliber case very well, and also the 40 caliber fits in a 45 really good. So if you are sifting through some of that stuff, you might still find cases inside of other cases that didn't fall when they were supposed to. But it could help.
Give you a head start, get most of the work done for you. You still got to go pick a few things out, but yeah, it could help. And, I'm going to encourage everyone, if you have any interest in this, if you think it could be useful, but you don't know, there is a video right there in the article. Scroll down, hit the little play button, and the Rogue Banshee himself will tell you everything you need to know about the shell sorter. And he'll even show you some examples of how it worked. There you go.
Yeah, the other thing, another thing that could be really good to use with this kind of system is if you reload and you want to sift the media, the cleaning media. If you're using your tumbler to clean out the brass, you can use a lower size grid, and you're going to be
using like a strainer to
strain
all stuff out. Yep.
All of the corn, or
I suppose you could. Yep.
Yeah. So
cool.
So different things that you can use with it in the end, not just sifting.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, and with that, we have completed the recently reviewed items portion of the show. We're to move on to reviews that will be published soon. So do either of you have anything you want to talk about that's on the horizon, kind of close on the horizon? We don't have to talk about the cheek riser thing again because it's still in there, and I'm going to try to get that one finished up probably tomorrow and posted Anything else that's in the works?
Yeah, I've got a couple different things. I got Safariland has sent me the drop leg holster with the QOS, the quick locking system,
Mm-hmm.
And a couple different holsters and all that. To the quick locking system, I think is a really cool thing. I got a product today from Juggernaut Case. It's a phone case.
Mm-hmm.
It's the phone case. It's called the Impact. But it also, they sent me a car mount that'll hook up to any like RAM mounts that you put on your vehicles.
Yeah.
They also sent. I run ATAC for some stuff. I don't know if you guys run ATAC or not on the phone, but it's got a thing that slides into my plate carrier through Molly, flips down. You slap your phone into it, and now you'll have your phone for GPS. If you're running ATAC or radio signals or whatever, you'll have a hands-free device that it'll just flip up and down on your plate carrier. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't know that was coming. So that was kind of a surprise. So I put a picture of it on Instagram so you can kind of see how it's set up on the plate carrier. But I'll start working on that here, and hopefully that'll be kind of an interesting little review.
So you're talking about the Android app that tracks, friendlies basically?
You talking about ATAC?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the Android for Android. I think it's called iTac for the iPhone, but it's the TAC system is the Team Awareness Kit.
Yeah.
And it's got satellite, wherever you are, it'll use your GPS to coordinate where you are, but you can add team members and you can kind of get a track of where everyone on a team is. Or if you're just out hiking, it'll help you do waypoints for different routes if you're out there. It's a really cool, ATAC is a really, really cool program that you can use for a lot of things. But this Juggernaut mount system with a phone allows you to put it on your plate carrier and flip it down if you're using ATAC, or if you're just using your maps and you're out hiking, you can put different waypoints in your maps and all that. But it's kind of a cool little plate carrier harness for your phone. It's pretty cool.
Interesting.
So that pretty much means that it folds down, so you can actually read the phone as you're walking.
Yeah. So the phone case itself is just a normal, pretty awesome phone case in itself. But then there's a mount that hooks onto the Molly of a plate carrier, and it folds down. And you just attach this inside that mount, and you'll flip it up, and it's got like a little patch. You can put your American flag or whatever you would on your plate carrier. But then it folds down. You kind of look down on it, and it's I guess it would be landscape, which is side to side.
Yeah.
You put that down, and now you're looking at your screen. You can do whatever. But the cool thing is if you have it up, you can record video from your chest and not have to, hold your camera if you're doing something on the range or whatever. It's kind of like I said, I just got it today, so I haven't really played with it, but it looks pretty cool. It's called Juggernaut Case. Yeah.
Juggernaut Case. Okay.
Well, while you're talking about that, I'm reading about ATAC because I'd never heard of it before. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, whoa, this is like your own little personal Blue Force tracker system almost.
Yeah, I've been using ATAC, I don't know, for a year or so, and like I said, I mean, it's kind of a cool thing. You can add team members. So if you've got people and you're out doing patrols, or if you're if you're trying to coordinate a team, you can, as long as they're all hooked up to it, then you can kind of plot where their GPS is. So you can kind of get an idea where your team is at different events, or, it'd be great for working at something like a range day when you're all spread out or something, being able to coordinate where everybody is. But it is satellite. It does, all sorts of maps, and you can download maps if you need to. But it's a really, really cool, like if you're a hiker or a camper, or if you like to canoe or sail or whatever, you can utilize this from the GPS satellite and track you can set up ahead of time waypoints to go wherever you want to go and utilize this map. It is really, as long as you have a cell signal, you can utilize ATAC in a lot of different ways. And I think the iPhone side is called iTac, or they have another one called SitRep, but I think that's kind of merged with the iTac. But the TAK, the Team Awareness Kit, it came out through Android first, and in the last year or so, it has come out through iPhone. I use ATAC. I have an Android phone. But yeah, it's a really cool. If you guys are interested in it, you just go on YouTube and hit, ATAC, and there's some really cool videos out there about it too. People use it for airsoft or mil sim, and there's all sorts of stuff you can use it for.
Yeah, I'd be a little worried that it's you're providing all this tracking stuff to whoever controls the system, like,
Yeah, you probably are, but
they're watching me. Of course, they're watching anyway, I guess.
They're watching you anyway, so
Yeah, that's really neat, though. I'm glad you mentioned that. That was kind of a cool little rabbit hole we went down.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone out in the chat, have you tried ATAC or ITAC or any of the other systems like that? Let us know, because I'm curious. All right. So
the cool thing, a lot of bushcrafters use it also. If you're just out there and then, doing your thing, like I said, you can track waypoints from point A to point B, and your GPS will tell you, okay, here's where you got to go and all of this stuff. So, using trails and stuff, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, so I got a new hat for backpacking, and I was thinking to myself when I ordered it, wow, that looks kind of not the most sexy headgear I've ever seen. And I thought, you know what do I care? I'm walking through the woods, and I want something that when it's raining or sunny is going to keep the sun or the rain off of my face or my neck or whatever. And I think this is going to do it. So this is a new hat that came in. I got a big backpacking trip I'm going to do in June, another trip out to the Philmont Scout Ranch to do, probably, so it'll be 11 days of backpacking through the mountains out there. And we'll probably do about 100 miles or so, typically is what we do, living out of backpack. So it's kind of a fun, if you're a desk jockey like me and not out doing physical stuff all the time, that's a big trip. If you're more adventurous, maybe that doesn't sound like too much, but it's a pretty cool little thing to get out and do. I'm starting to gear up for that. And something else that arrived today, Mitch, I wonder where Mitch is. Mitch is usually here with us. He's got a one Tigris. I don't think it's a plate carrier. It's more like a chest rig and some other stuff that goes on it. And, yes, Jacob, Philmont again. This is a backpack from one Tigris that I don't know if it's actually going to be big enough for the trek, but it's a fairly cool, modern, simple, lightweight, very, very functional design that I haven't even put it on yet. I took it out of the box this afternoon, and I actually brought it up here. My camping gear is over there, and I had hoped before the show started to go throw a bunch of stuff in it, see how it felt on my back, but I ran out of time. So, but that's going to be coming.
It looks like he's going to be able to expand quite a bit to put more stuff in it. So
a little bit, yeah. Something else that I'm doing. I've had a couple companies send these wireless microphone systems. So this one, the one that I've been using, has a receiver and a transmitter, and you clip the transmitter on, or you hook a little mic up to it, and then you put the camera, or not the camera, you put the receiver. So here I've got my little 4K gimbal camera, and I'd have one of my little Android sits up here as a monitor, and then this is the audio receiver, so that I have a wireless mic. As I move things around, I don't have to worry about a wire getting caught up while I'm filming. That works really good as long as it's one person. So this company, Comica, offered to send a 2-person kit. So now that receiver will come off of the gimbal camera, and this receiver will go on it. And then we'll have 2 mics. So maybe here, Jose, you can wear this one, and you got to reach the other side. Yeah.
The other way.
Yeah. You put that on, and I'll have one on, and then, we'll be able to get clean audio. I haven't tried this one yet. This got a neat little feature. It's got little antennas that pop up, which I don't know if that helps or not, but they look kind of cool. So I'm going to mess with these here shortly. The plan in getting all this stuff was, really kit ourselves up to do a little better video at SHOT Show this year, and now that's likely not going to happen. So something that we are going to do very soon, I got a confirmation email, confirmation of intent today from Anthony with Fire Expo 2021, and that's going to be in the southern part of Florida, a little bit north of Miami.
I might be going there.
Yeah, well, you can go with us if you want, or you can go by yourself, whatever, you know.
I was talking with Ron and Shane with Riker USA, and Shane's with Spartacus Global, so that's who I've been talking with.
Yeah. So Anthony is Director of Law Enforcement Engagement at Force Center. That's the facility. The facility is really neat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Anthony on to do one of these live stream interviews shortly, and we'll pull up some video. They've got a sizzle reel that we'll bring up on that show and walk through some of their capabilities. But they have I think that this is one of the places where they have different types of buildings, like a prison setting, an office building setting, a military barracks setting.
It's a former federal prison, so they've got it set up for all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can simulate all different types of conflicts and threats, and they have a pretty expansive area outside of the buildings, is my understanding, where they can stage various different types of encounters. So that's going to be pretty neat. We're going to talk to him here shortly. We haven't set a day and time yet. Probably going to be one day in the next week or two. We'll have to mesh schedules. And honestly, they've got this event that when SHOT Show was canceled, shortly after it was canceled, they started talking about, hey, we're gonna have an event so some brands can come here, and it'll be a mix of SHOT Show and this Fire Expo is going to be like SHOT Show and the NRA show kind of mixed together a little. So it'll be open to the public, but they're also inviting brands and media in as well. So we should be, I think it's going to be more like an NRA show, only at a
and the brands can sell their product. They can actually sell their product at the show too. So that's cool.
Yeah, instead of SHOT where they can't. So so this should be kind of neat. And I've got a friend that is about 25 minutes away from there that has a whole bunch of these newer version Humvees, and he is in the business of kitting them out as they would be used in the military. So he up armors them and puts guns on them and all kind of fun stuff. So what I'm thinking is the end of January, the Gear Report team, a few of us are going to go down there, and we'll hook up with my buddy Steve and get a Humvee or two and go to the facility and probably use the trucks in some kind of promotional stuff there as part of this Fire Expo. We're gonna have to see what we can work out. I mean, I've floated the idea to Steve and he seemed amenable, but we haven't worked out details. And Anthony and I are going to talk when we do this live stream, but it should be interesting. They're getting more and more brands signing on to go present at this Fire Expo. And, I'm sitting here talking about it while I'm looking through the email. I should probably bring that up so we can see that tab real quick.
Yeah, I think it's January 23rd, 24th, or 22nd, 23rd, something like that.
22nd to 24th, which I believe is an overlap with the Gundy Awards. So, I may have to ask people to back off on the voting for Gear Report to be sure that it doesn't interfere. I don't want to commit to go to this Fire Expo and then be like, oh, sorry, we're getting this major award, so we're not going to be able to come to your little event. I think that'd be kind of douchey. So maybe we need to dial back on the Gundy Awards voting to be sure that we don't have any conflicts here trying to make it to this event. But you can see, let me make that one a little bigger. There. Okay. You can see they do have some sponsors on board. So Shaw Barrels has jumped on and Maxim. So have you talked to Tonto? Is he traveling with Maxim for that? Do you know?
He is going to try. I talked to him last week because he is doing a training session in Louisiana the week prior. So I think he's probably going to try to get down there. He wasn't sure though. He wasn't sure how logistics were going to play because he already had this thing. This the training session in Louisiana was a makeup for one that got canceled earlier this summer. So he wants to do this for sure. So that's his first priority. If he can get down there, he said he would. But he's going to talk to them and see if they'll fly him down there. But if he has to drive, he's not sure yet.
Yeah, I got you. So there you see some of the things here. AM Global Vision, that's another company that I've been talking to. We're trying to set up a time where we can get together and do one of those live stream interviews as well. So let us know what brand you want to hear from. We're mixing it up. You know, I'm talking to Craft Holsters tomorrow. If you're going to be around 9 o'clock Eastern and you want to hop back over here to the Gear Report channel on YouTube, we'll have a live stream interview with Craft Holsters. And they're somewhere in Europe. I want to say like Czech Republic or something. I'm probably getting it wrong, so I don't want to say, but I know they're in Europe somewhere. So it's going to be afternoon for them and early morning for us here. But if you want to hop on and chat with us during that broadcast, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, they got more and more. Every time I look at this, there seems to be another brand or two that has signed up. So that could turn out to be a pretty cool event. So we're currently planning, at a minimum, TJ's going to go down there because he's already in Florida. But we could end up with a larger portion of the team getting down there and doing some more stuff there. All right. Slovakia. See, I knew I had it wrong. I was hesitant to say because I knew I was going to get it wrong.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Yeah. All right, let me go back through here. What do we have? Oh, G23 has joined us. That's good. Well, hey, right back at you. TJ said, come on down. I've got beverages. That's a true story. TJ's a pretty honest guy. When he says something like that, you can kind of take him at his word.
Oh, yeah, we know he has beverages. So he's very truthful about that.
Just now picked up some Wolf Match Brass Case 22. Never seen it before. Figured I'd give it a try. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And,
are you sure it's not just gold painted steel if it's Wolf? Could be. I don't know. Bad cheap ammo joke there, I guess.
I've shot some of it, and I agree with what Clover says. It's good stuff. Yeah, especially the match ammo stuff. Yeah. Interesting, talking about match ammo for the 22 long rifle, there's different mentalities of it. And a lot of them, they use some kind of viscosity oil or wax that covers them. So it depends how much you handle them. Your hands end up getting messed up with it. But that coating that they put on it, whether it's wax or like I said, some kind of oil or paraffin, actually helps make that final seal with the barrel and help the guns shoot pretty good.
Gotcha. And it's not cheap, he said.
Correct. It's not cheap. It's
okay.
Especially now, if you can find it, you're probably going to be paying somewhere about 15 cents per round, 20 cents per round, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. Speaking of ammo, I have not yet retired, so that will tell you that I haven't sold all the ammo that I have on my for sale page. So, hey,
I've been trying to sell some, and
people keep complaining they can't find ammo. And you know what? The price in the market keeps going up and up and up. And you know what happened to my prices? Sitting steady. Market prices are now higher than what mine are listed as, and people still aren't buying it yet. So I think I just haven't promoted it enough, which may be because I'm like waiting for the market price to get higher so I can raise my price so I can retire more luxuriously. But I don't know. But it's there if you're interested, and it's legal for you to buy it wherever you live. If you live in a non-communist state, shoot me a note. I'll hook you up with 945 or 308.
308, yeah.
762-51 NATO. Okay, so what else should we talk about? Anything? Current events? Anything?
Not really.
You guys are chatterboxes. Okay.
What about some of the stuff that is kind of maybe in the pipeline for later on? Maybe. we've been talking to a couple of different companies, and they might
I
be
don't want to talk about that yet.
okay.
Nope. Well, okay. I don't want to give any brand names yet.
No. But
You want to talk about what you're working on, though? That's fine.
Yeah. So, been talking to a couple of companies and stuff, and along the way, since we try and test and review a whole bunch of different gear, we have several silencers that we try and we have in the, I wouldn't say necessarily in the queue, but in SOT jail, if you want to put it that way. But we have access to shooting them and stuff. But a while back, Jeff completed a Form 1 can, and a year or so later, I applied for one. And so I have an approved form, and we're talking to different places to maybe getting a kit together so we can complete that one. So,
and that's a whole topic area that gets me a little upset, to be honest, because making a Form 1 can, making your own silencer, making your own firearm for that matter, perfectly legal, right? The can with a Form 1, perfectly legal. Not a damn thing illegal about it. But the kits, a lot of brands marketed them, and some still do, as a solvent trap or something silly that to try to say, oh no, we're just selling this fuel filter adapter. Like, well, seriously? Yes, people can buy it and make a silencer without going through the ATF and whatever, but they can make one out of who knows what you can make a silencer out of without going through the ATF. People who go through the Form 1 process would love to be able to buy a kit and put it together and make it easy. And that'd be safer to have a well-made kit that you can buy than some of the crap that people put together. But the ATF gets their panties in a bunch over this and shuts people down for selling these kits, largely because they try to play games and call them a solvent trap or fuel filter adapter or whatever. But, at the end of the day, I think everyone should be able to go buy parts and build a silencer without any paperwork. But even if it's a Form 1, they shouldn't get in your grill for doing perfectly legal stuff that's within your rights. So you should be able to go out and buy these kits. I reviewed a kit a few years ago, very DIY, hands-on, kind of had to drill and form your own conical baffles. So now we're talking to a company about getting a multi-cal kit in Jose Juan's hands so he can go through that process and document it and share it with everyone, because I think it's a pretty cool process.
However, I will not be needing to actually form the different baffles and stuff. Some of these kits of the companies that we talk to are actually already conical. They're already done. So it's almost like saying it's an 80% silencer.
Yeah.
If you want to put it that way. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Yep. All right. So I'm going to bring up a page here. We had a question. Oh, let me get back. Where is it? What's new on the Humvee for sale page? That's the parts for sale page. So let me show you something real quick here. There it is. All right.
Everything is for sale.
Yeah, there's some neat stuff on here. So, I should have put the picture of how these are used. Everyone, I'm sure, has seen a picture. You Google a Humvee being airlifted or a Humvee being sling loaded under a helicopter. So they'll have 4 of these big straps. They're like as big around as your wrist. They're really large woven straps. Each one of these is 10 feet long. So that'll give you a little size perspective looking at the picture on there. So you put them on the 2 on the airlift shackles in the middle of the hood, 2 on the back bumper, airlift shackles. They all come up to the center and go up to the helicopter up top to lift the Humvee and fly away. So I've got 2 sets of these that I have available. Honestly, I got them listed as $100 a piece. I looked these up. Do you want to guess what the government pays for each one of those straps?
$1,300.
Oh, that'd be a bargain if they did.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's over $6,500
Wow.
Yeah. So there are 8 of them laying there. That's like 50 grand. But I'm selling them for $100 a piece, for people not to lift their Humvees and fly around with their helicopters, because that would be a little overkill, I think, for most people. But they
toe
make
straps.
badass toe straps.
Exactly. Toe straps would be fantastic. Absolutely.
Yep. Reminds me of Bubba Rope a little bit. So if anyone is down with getting a couple of those, $100, man, that's a steal. That is one, what is it? 1/65th of the retail price. And they're in pretty good shape, you know?
Yeah. Tactical Natural called it 6,500. That's insane. Yeah, absolutely.
It
Completely.
is. It absolutely is. And so I've got some a new thinner Blue Force tracker antenna mount for the newer trucks. I've got some of the old ones that are a little thicker. This is something I wanted to show that I think is pretty neat. I was just looking for a box, and I found this box that I thought looked pretty cool, that has a lid that folds out of the way. I wanted a lid so when I put a stereo and stuff in that box, I could put the lid up and seal it. I don't have to worry about it getting wet or anything, and it'll be kind of out of sight, out of mind for people walking by, to hide all my switches and electronics and charger ports and stuff in there. It's actually a big battery charger, a battery bank charger for the communication radios, the PRC radios that the military uses in the field. So it's a vehicle mounted charger. I'm going to gut and pull all that stuff out and put electronics in it. That's really the new stuff. If you've been through the page of what kind of parts we have, I'm scrolling to get down to, still scrolling. I wanted to show the ammo section because it's Humvee parts, except I've got some guns and ammo mixed in here because, that's what the cool people do, right? Is you mix in guns and ammo with your Humvee parts. Man, there's a lot of parts on there. If you're into Humvee parts, this is like a cornucopia of Humvee parts right here. And flashlights. Look at that. The little Streamlight flashlights. Yeah. It's good stuff. Yep, and still going. I'm not going to be able to show you the ammo because I can't get to it because there's too much on here.
You just grab
them.
them.
There we go. Guns.
Oh,
I see guns. Yeah, I've wanted a Glock 34 for a long time. I haven't even shot it. It's brand new in the box, and I got it listed for sale. So I may keep it. Who knows? I certainly will keep it if no one buys it. And then we got the ammo on here, and then some more turret parts and spare fuel tanks and all kind of stuff. There's a transfer case up there if anyone needs one. Doors. I got hard doors all over the place here. All the hard doors you could ever want. Good stuff. So go check out the Humvee parts page if you are into Humvee parts and such. Still finding ammo for around 11 to 13 for 50 for what? FMJs, but of what?
Yeah, what caliber?
Yeah, what cartridge are we talking about here? Because that makes a difference.
Would that be 380? Would that be 22 long rifle?
I think it's 22 long rifle. Probably.
Long rifle.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, no idea.
Yeah.
Clover, good to know. Who said that? G23 said that. Okay. 2 boxes. Oh, let's talk about the Wolf stuff. Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. That's what you mentioned earlier. 6,500 for those lifting straps is kind of insane. I'm working on one for Nom Creek Mark comparison. Video coming soon. Interesting. See, that's charting new ground for Gear Report. We've never really gone down the road of that kind of adult beverage stuff. So not sure we really want to go there, but yeah, whatever. TJ's a big boy. We'll let him do what he wants. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. The ghostess with the mostest, Mr. Ghost Tactical, slipped out on us. He sent us a little note in the private chat that said, "Oh, got to go. Sorry." And he was gone just like that. So if you have any brands, the same thing I've said a few times in the past month or two, if you have brands you'd like to see us interview, anyone you'd like to talk to in the outdoor space, camping gear, firearms stuff, military vehicle stuff, whatever, outdoor stuff, let me know. We'll reach out and see if we can schedule an interview and ask them all kind of questions and see what new products they have coming out and all that kind of stuff. So until next time, which will be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning Eastern time when we talk to...
You're doing the live the live.
When we talked to Craft Holsters. So come back then. I think that's the last thing we have scheduled for the short term. I'm about to schedule some stuff for next week, I think. So keep your eye on our different social media channels so you can know when we're going to go live with the additional brand interviews. And, if you're inclined to do Patreon, we've got a patron, a whole range of different patron options for you over on Patreon. Go check it out if you're into that. We would love to have your support because we appreciate that kind of thing. Really helps out. So until next time, we'll see you at the range.
See you at the range.